Welcome back to the Unstoppable Force podcast. I'm Guy,
And I'm Rob,
and we're back with our 23rd episode.
talking about Borderlands 3 in this one.
Yep, just played a whole bunch of it.
Yeah.
Not not as much as we had hoped, but
No. I
enough
don't.
to I think make some serious comments, right?
Yeah, definitely on like gameplay mechanics and
Mhm.
update changes to the game more so than like
Story.
story. Yeah.
Um, Also, is there any planets that we haven't gone to yet, or have we gone to all of them?
No, we barely scratched the surface.
Right. So for a very small, or I guess like the first third of the game, maybe like
Yeah.
is
Okay.
about to where we're at.
Yeah.
Just to give everybody perspective, this is mostly gonna be talking about like the new updates and
mhm,
also like a lot of the mechanics and our sort of vibe, I guess you
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Okay. I mean, we could just start with like the tiny stuff that they fixed. We'll go
Hmm.
with that stuff because like I hadn't noticed it for a while until like randomly I was like, wait, I don't have to every time I open a chest, like hold down a button to get my loot. You just like
Hmm.
walk over to it and it like jumps to you. And that's like it just becomes second nature and you just forget about it. Like the little
Yeah.
things that you just don't really notice that just happen.
And then there's also, I mean, there's I think quite a few quality of life changes, but then it also
Hmm.
feels like they didn't do some quality of life changes. But there's supposed to be
Okay.
like the ammo where you can like walk up to the machine, you can just
Yeah,
grab all the
you
ammo.
just buy all. Yeah.
But then like picking up guns, for example, I mean, you picking them up is very quick.
Mm,
But like if you were to hit like full inventory, we actually noticed there was not very many reload stations and also not very many like gun
mm,
stations to sell
right.
stuff.
Right. All the vending machines.
Hmm.
There's
And
a
then
lack of them. Like they added a lot like more loot, and they want you to like be able to look at them and all these different guns and have this and all
mhm,
these stats, and they make it so easy with the
gear
score,
score,
right?
yeah.
So then it's like, okay, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, and then you can mark them as usual, like trash or star, and then you would go to the vending machine and like sell all that crap,
Hmm.
so you have more room to pick up the next loot, alongside that mission.
But the thing is like as you go, you kind of just start getting a ton of, let's say, like green guns, and
Mm,
you have a whole bunch in your inventory.
yeah,
And now it's like, okay, well, which ones cost more?
yeah,
If you wanted to like sell them at the most, so you
yeah,
have to go into your inventory, figure out which one costs the
hmm
least, drop it,
yeah.
and then pick up the item,
And
which takes more time.
Yeah, and I think I noticed there's no way to actually filter by cost, like of it,
Yeah.
which was kind of weird. I don't like it would be helpful because otherwise it's like, oh, we just beat this boss, and then we're standing there for like, I'm like, hold on, I gotta go through my inventory, check which guns that I'm okay to drop right now, well, because the inventory's full, so I can pick
Hmm.
up this good gun here, and then I'm like sitting there, and it's just like slows down the whole thing, the whole like mission, and like the flow just is so reduced, like. I'm worrying more about that because I have no inventory space versus like, oh, let me run over to this vending machine and just, clear this out so I can have room and not worry about it.
And I don't really know how they design the cost of guns, but like there'll be an RPG, for example, that's like 500,
Hmm.
and then you've got like a green sniper that's like like I guess it's probably around like level 15, level
Hmm.
20. Um, you pick up the sniper and it's like 200,
Yeah.
and they're both green, and they both have like the same exact gear score, and there's so many different items that are totally different pricing regardless of gear score, so you do have to kind of go through each
Yeah.
one of your greens, and then there's this little animation where it like will change the value as it goes,
Oh
like it kind of
yeah.
slides
You have
into
to
the
wait
correct one.
when you hover over it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can't even just like quickly like scroll through them to find which one's low.
Yeah.
You actually have to sit there and
You need to,
wait.
and then remember the number of the other
Mhm.
one. You can't just look at it glance quickly.
So it kind of slows down the whole thing.
Yeah.
A really great idea would have been to just have the pickup item
Yeah.
option, and then if you're full, instead of
Hmm.
just it being swap,
Yeah.
there should be drop cheapest item
No.
and
Oh yeah.
replace.
Yeah.
Like literally, like just we'll swap it out with the cheapest item because you'll know, like,
But
or it
you
could
might
even
no, but
display
you might
that
be using
there.
the cheapest item.
Probably not.
You might be.
But then you would know.
Well, how would you know? You would drop it.
Okay, well,
You
so
would just pick it from your inventory.
first off, honestly, if the items that you're using are probably always going to be like blue, purple, and like orange,
Okay.
and then I guess at some point we'll probably get a red or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you get
You don't pick up all the gray shit.
Also, it doesn't have to be your like you it can just filter out your equipped items just like it does when you
Okay.
sell stuff.
Yeah. I guess.
Um,
Well, what if it's like, I can see like a situation where it's like I have three equipped guns. They're like a pistol, shotgun, and assault rifle. And then if I run out of ammo, I can just go in my inventory and swap out for like a submachine gun that I have in there. What if that's like the lowest value one? But that's the only submachine gun I have because if I run out of ammo, I need to use a different gun than what I have equipped, like in this
you don't
level.
have to do that.
I'm just saying.
I mean, you can go into your inventory, drop an item.
I know. I'm just saying that would
Right.
screw up some things.
I mean, I feel like it wouldn't screw up anything. It would either make it so that you still have to do the
All
same
right.
amount of work as the current game, or
Mm.
98% of the time you'd have to do less work.
Sure. I mean, I just like a stats geek. When I go, I look at
Mhm.
every single part of the
Yeah, and
the
that's
gun.
the
I
other
don't
thing
even
about
use
gear
this
score
like
too.
personally. I don't use this gear score at
Exactly.
all. I kind of actually I actually ignore it. Like even if it's like there's a gun that has a higher score, and I think it's worse, like for the game, like the style that I'm playing. I don't really care about it. I don't really feel bad.
Mhm.
Oh no, this is like like kind of rated better or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, there's still. I think the thing is that there's so many factors that go into a gun being strong. Whether it's the size of the
Hmm.
magazine, it does it ramp up in its attack speed as it shoots. Like, does it have certain effects and elements that I've spec'd into related to my build?
Yeah.
There's so many like specific character related
Mm.
buffs, like when
Yeah.
choosing weapons and like there's a Tedior shotgun that we got that looked like it was not very good and it didn't
Yeah.
have the greatest gear score.
Right.
But if you shot it and then threw it, could literally insta kill
Hmm.
every unit you throw it against, and it like would half the health of bosses or
Yeah.
like quarter the health of bosses.
Mhm.
So it was stronger being thrown than it was being shot, and it was not reflected in the gear score in any
Right.
way.
Exactly.
So there's definitely something weird with that.
Mhm. And another little thing is kind of like the whole inventory thing. A lot of times going into like your menu, like into your which the Echo like your Echo
Hmm.
to like look at your stats or do whatever, swap out your guns. It loads. There's like something they have in there that just it makes it just load. Like I'll just go in and I like see like the menu like outline pop up, then like my character pop up, and then the guns are filling or whatever fills in. I'm just like
Hmm.
waiting. Like it's not as quick. I don't know. It's like for the quick changes and stuff.
I
It's
think they added a lot of 3D elements for
hmm
2D elements in the
yeah.
game. So like the map is now
Oh, I hate the
3D.
map to be honest,
Yeah.
because there's no real good way to zoom out. Like on PC, I'm like scrolling out, and then like I'm trying to move it around. My mouse got caught, and it just was like stuck on click. Like it's not my
Hmm.
mouse; it was the game. Like I'm moving it around, and then
Oh,
it was
weird.
just the whole map was moving when I'm trying to like. 'Cause you have to click, drag, unclick to drag, like so you keep like moving over and
Yeah,
over. It got stuck, and I was so frustrated.
that sucks. Were you able to like go
Yeah,
out of the
tabbed out and
menu and
then go
then?
back in. Yeah,
Okay.
like yeah, go out of the echo and go back in.
I mean, yeah. So the map is kind of 3D now, and
Hmm.
I think like in the actual menu, it looks like they kind of have a little bit of. I may be wrong on this, but it does look kind of 3D
Mm,
on the actual menu.
yeah.
And then I know like when you're selling items and buying items, it's
Dude, that's all
3D.
3D, yeah.
So it's possible that by adding a
Mhm.
ton of the 3D over the 2D, it takes longer
Yeah.
for it to like load into the menu.
Yeah. Like selecting on a gun to like compare to another one takes like a whole second for
Hmm.
it to like actually select and have the arrows to be like, okay, you're comparing it to this one. And then on top of like selecting things in the like the tree, the skill tree,
Yeah.
instead of just like I click on like I was fighting like whatever those there's like the spheres in that one level that are just flying around, and I have this ground like fists that come up from the ground as Amara, and I can't hit any of these spheres, so I have to do like a quick swap, put on the other ability so I can actually like do the
Yeah.
projection and actually get some range on it. And I go in, I click on it, I tab out, but I didn't select it. It just like hovered over it, and then you have to hit E, to actually
Right.
hit the button to put it on there. And I was like, I used my ability. I'm like, shit, I used the wrong ability. Then I have to
That'd be
change it,
kind
and
of
then there's a
cool if you
cooldown.
could like switch on the fly
Well,
between
I mean,
abilities.
I just go into the menu, but then the
Hmm.
cooldowns happen because I used the wrong ability. Now I swapped my ability, and then the
Yeah.
cooldowns happening. I'm just like, can't do anything.
I mean, I think it would actually be kind of cool if you could like swap the ability in combat, and since I know
Yeah.
that even though it's
Hmm.
at least for us it's X, right? Or sorry,
What do you mean?
F. It's F for us
Oh
on
yeah.
PC.
Oh yeah.
I think it's X on, or is it what's the button um
Uh, what, Xbox or
on Xbox or on controller probably. I forget what it was when we played back in the day.
I think there's X on it on X. Thought it was.
Is it? And that's why I'm thinking of that maybe.
I think so.
But either way, there's if you just tap it.
Hmm.
Oh, I guess right now because for a lot of characters holding it down, like for example, Flak, it's the attack
Oh, like pick.
command.
Yeah, yeah.
I was gonna say like maybe if you hold it down, you could like swap and then hit it.
Hmm.
But you probably can't actually.
Like I don't mind quick swap, like not being able to
Because
change it like really quickly, but I'm just saying like not being able to click the ability in the tree. I guess it's better when you don't so you don't accidentally buy the wrong skill when you level up. But when
yeah,
you're swapping between your abilities, that's a pain in the ass.
maybe that could be like one click, and then everything else
Yeah,
you have to like confirm
yeah,
or not
right, because
confirm.
it's automatically unlocked. You don't have to spend a skill point on it.
Right.
So, I think we should talk about the way they did like instancing and like leveling up
Oh,
and stuff.
the whole competitive and
Yeah,
cooperative
cooperative. Yeah,
choice.
competitive. Whatever the fuck.
Cooperative.
Yeah, I know. No, I know.
Cooperative,
Like they had like
competitive,
some
competitive,
weird
cooperative.
special word way they wrote it on.
Did they?
Cooperative. Yeah,
Is it? I thought it was just
coopetition.
cooperative.
No, it's co-op. No, it's co.
Cooperation?
No, no, it's co. Now you screwed me up. It's cooperative, but then there
Yeah.
was like co-opetition.
Oh.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
yeah. Cause
co-op. Okay, because it's like
like
co-op
yeah,
addition.
yeah, 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 yeah. I
Okay.
think yeah.
I thought
That's all.
it was the other one that was the one that
No,
was being
no,
changed.
no, no.
Okay, yeah.
That's all.
Um, I can't think of a single reason why anybody would ever pick the co-op petition.
Yeah, me either. It.
I I feel like one of the greatest things that they did in this game was cooperative because it literally made it so it kind of was more drop in, drop out
Dude,
gameplay.
it's like seamless. Like I don't even feel bad like hopping out if or hopping in or like into your
Mhm.
game out or like another friend's game or doing whatever. Like it doesn't feel like I'm missing out at all. Especially since like if like I'm further back in the story and than you are and I jump in your game and we play and if I were to play by myself and I like kind of do a mission, but once I get to the point where joined you, there's an option to just skip over it because it knows that you already played it and
Yeah.
it'll just auto like complete the missions on your game essentially. But there's one like complaint with this system. Well, it's not this system even. It's actually just the way like leveling works, I guess,
Yeah.
more so. And that's instead of unlocking like gun slots and like class mods by level, they do it by mission. So if you miss a mission, you don't get that for that like the class mod for the whole time. So if
Yeah.
like I'm playing and I don't get to the mission for the class mod, and then you're playing, you already passed it, and I join your game, we just keep playing from that point on, I won't be able to use a class mod for the whole entire time unless I go back and complete the story, to the point where I get that
Mhm.
mission instead of going by level. I could be level like whatever, like 40, and then just who cares? You don't have a class mod, or like you still only have two gun slots.
Mhm. Honestly, like such an easy way to do that. They could have just made it like, oh, if you hit level 10,
Yes.
we'll just
Once
unlock
you unlock,
everything.
yeah, it should be just by level. I thought
Like
that's what the previous one was, unless it was all unlocked already.
it might have been that way, but then like it was a little different where you didn't have the cooperative
Mm,
thing. So
okay.
because of that, you would never really join a friend who's higher level than you because then you just get shit on.
Right, they would join your game.
Exactly, and they would
Yeah,
like boost you. So it was
yeah,
always stronger players joining weaker players'
yeah.
games because the game essentially forced that. But
Mm,
since they added this cooperative mode where everything is instanced,
yeah,
then they ran into a problem they probably never experienced before and didn't anticipate
yeah,
in that one particular sense.
that's true.
I mean, just in general though, I feel like it kind of completely changed how the game was played. Even we just kind of
Yeah,
even addressed one of the ways it completely changed it. But
yeah.
like if at some point they are to, add more content to the game and in a lot of ways, interestingly, um Borderlands is a lot like
Destiny?
it's a lot like Destiny, but
Because
also a lot
Destiny
like
came
Diablo.
okay, Diablo.
And the reason why I mentioned Diablo is because Diablo 3.
Okay.
The game is, I mean, it's leveling
Yeah.
up, you're selecting abilities,
Yeah.
you have a big tree. I mean, you can like
Okay.
automatically change whatever you want, but all of your items are random, like not completely randomly generated, but like the
So it's
specific
like an
stats on a
RPG.
legendary are randomly generated, so you can get a
Mhm.
good legendary or a bad legendary, and you also have to like find all of them. And then you re-roll them and you put like gems on them and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And it's a loot game. You
Yeah.
run around, you kill big bosses, they drop loot, and
Yeah.
it's a similar style. The actual mechanics are different, but they added something at the end called like rifts,
Okay.
right? And what rifts do is they allow you to like almost go through these like randomly generated missions with huge loot at the end after like a big boss that
Yeah.
is like one of the bosses of the game, but then with like some modifiers to make it more difficult. Um, they could do that in this, and they could like continue to add stuff and add like more cooperative modes, and like they're doing the whole holiday thing.
Yeah.
um, so this ability of like dropping in and dropping out gives them so much, I think, like room to make different styles of content.
Yeah.
Because now my level 40 friend and my brand new level 10 friend can go both do some haunting
Mhm.
event and have it be fun.
Yeah.
Whereas like in the previous version of the game,
Oh yeah.
it's almost like an MMO
Mhm.
where everybody has to be max level to go and do the
Yeah.
events and stuff.
Right. Or whatever level. It's like recommended level. You go and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then it kind of ostracizes parts of the community, and then that's why MMOs turn into this like there's the people who are just maybe starting, and there's a very small number of them. And or I guess this is assuming that you're like a few years into an MMO. There's like a small number of people of starting,
Mhm.
and then most of the player base has been playing for years.
Yeah.
So it kind of forces that when you don't have like a cooperative sort of situation in
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
these types of like co-op games.
Yeah. You end up making new characters. Like if like I was like you're playing for a long time, and then I'm just like starting in,
Mhm.
and I want to play. It's like oh, and then you just be like oh, let me just create a new character and start over again. That's kind of what happens with like World of Warcraft, for example.
Yeah.
Like, I don't play, and then if I'm gonna play anybody like veterans, be like, all right, let's just do this. Like even
But
like
imagine right now you could play on a level 10 account on like World of Warcraft
yeah,
with your max level friend
yeah,
on a raid.
yeah,
And you just get kind of crappy loot
yeah,
and he gets awesome ass loot,
sure.
and it's like I would play WoW right now. I would literally play cuz I have some
Right.
friends who it would be really fun doing high level raids with.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
And I can still level up, I can still get items, I
Hmm.
can still progress through the game. I don't have to do only the
Hmm.
storyline. I can do literally anything.
Yeah. I wonder.
And
Yeah,
I can enjoy the game in my own way.
yeah. If they're able to scale it up, that's like a thing. Like it'd be
Right.
cool to catch on, but if to be able to get that many
Mhm.
players would be able to instance that,
I think
it'd be
it's
insane.
slightly easier though because it's a loot shooter, and loot
Yes. Yeah.
shooters have like a very like
Specific.
interesting sort of design to them,
Yeah.
where like the cooperative like it works so well in this
Hmm.
game. Um, you might as well just keep going, right?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Because it's just like I kill stuff, I get experience, I get loot.
Hmm.
Doesn't really matter like as long as I'm getting the loot and experience as my level, doesn't really matter what I fight.
True.
So
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
we'll do like the same level. I'll do like the same level over again with like if you were behind me.
Mhm.
Like, oh, I'm just gonna replay this. I'm gonna get XP anyway and level up. It doesn't even matter. Like my level doesn't affect you and your level doesn't affect me or like fighting a boss. Like if we can hop like if one thing is like some like parts of the levels like I had such a tough time fighting myself, and then later when like I was playing again with you, it was
Mhm.
just so much easier. It was like felt like nothing was there. Like we just ran through the whole like fight, and like I mean I don't know if that's necessarily a problem that occurs like throughout the whole game. It kind of happened a few times, but it's really nice to be like, oh, if like you're like later in the story, you go, all right, can I just get your help for like this one boss? You just hop in,
Mhm.
fight it, get whatever loot, whatever, and then hop back off and just go keep doing your own shit.
But even then, like your friend isn't gonna. It's not gonna be that big of a difference because he's doing damage as if the enemy is
Right? No, it's
scaled to a higher level, and then
right, but
you're
it's
doing damage at a lower level.
no, it's gonna be the same. But all I'm saying is like I think with this game, I think they made it more so that you just get help, like, and it just makes it easier.
Yeah.
Because like there are like bosses that just focus you, and you can't get away from their gaze, or like those spheres that are just all looking at you, coming at you. Like by yourself, they're all coming at one person at once. And you can't go run around the map to go like fight them. Now, if you have two people, splits
Mhm.
the attacks basically.
But, like, in the previous games, if you did that with your, like, max
Mhm.
level friend, he
Right.
would just be like, "Boo doo
Yeah,
doo
yeah,
doo doo doo
done,
doo doo
done.
doo,"
Yeah,
kills everybody in,
yeah.
like, 10
And then it's
seconds,
not as
and
fun, right? So this
yeah.
like also like makes it way more fun because it's like a you know whole fight. You're not gonna just you know beat it in 2 seconds.
And, also, like, the guy who's high level is still gonna have a slightly tougher time. Obviously, it's not
Yeah,
gonna be as difficult as it probably would be to be your level just
right.
because he has all of these unlocks. He's
Yeah,
maxed his
right.
character,
Exactly.
he's maxed his gear. Um, but at
Probably
least
survive longer, whatever they have like the
yeah.
better gear that you have like
Like, your shield is still gonna be 1,000
yeah.
regardless
Mhm.
of whether or not, that you're
Right.
fighting a
You're
level.
gonna survive longer or so.
Um,
But I just want to address one thing that I think I heard a little bit about, but I didn't personally experience, but some of our friends did, and that was like some game saves just getting lost in
right.
like loading in, where like it was one instance of just 4 hours worth of game just was like reset, where like I don't know if it had to do with like the cloud save or local
Yeah,
save.
I think it,
It
it
could have been.
was picking the wrong one because
Hmm.
there was a weird thing that I think a lot of people were getting where on Epic Store when you reopened your game it would prompt you with a
Mm.
choice
Yeah.
saying, "Oh, your game is out of sync.
Yeah.
We've got your desktop game and then
And
we've
look
got
out.
your cloud game,
Yeah.
right?" And then if you like you have to read which one and how many hours you
Yeah.
have on it and whichever one has more is the correct one, but it could have been either.
Yeah, exactly.
The
And like,
cloud one,
and why
local.
they don't just pick that themselves? Like, which is longer amount of time? Okay, load
Mhm.
that one. Like,
Right,
it'd
there's
be
not
like,
gonna be very many games where I'm gonna be like, "Oh, yeah, I definitely wish that I was
all right,
loading the game saved from before."
yeah,
What
yeah,
I mean, like, maybe if I was I guess, if I, like, messed something up and I'm loading a save, but I can do that in the game itself
yeah, exactly.
most times.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other instance was just the level and like the time played was the same, but all of his guns were just gone.
Yeah,
Had no, none equipped, none in the inventory, nothing. Just, that's just like total like random, like
that
not
is
like
really
not
weird.
like like a save, like that file that had all his guns on it was destroyed. I guess. Whack.
I mean, I guess it could be, like, there's probably some sort of information in the save that pertains to the guns.
Hmm.
It's probably, like, its own little file or something, and I guess that must have somehow, like, got
Correct.
corrupt and deleted?
It's
I don't
weird.
even know
Yeah.
how that happened.
And then there's just I don't know if that's just because at my apartment we have three of us playing at the same time. If like we keep like uh getting disconnected or crashing. Like last night when I tried playing, it Borderlands like froze, and then it like was loading like as if to go back to the menu and be like, "Oh, you disconnected." But then my whole
Mm.
computer froze. So I don't know if that was my computer thing or it was a Borderlands thing.
Oof. That sounds like,
And
kinda rough.
I like shut it down like manually, and I turned it back on.
Mhm.
It's like, "Oh, do you want to start Windows safely or normally?" Did that
Yeah.
one of those things.
I've had, like, a few crashes, but n definitely nothing that's crashed my computer.
Yeah.
I'm curious if other people are having that, or maybe it could just be, like, related to video drivers as
Hmm.
well, like,
Maybe.
usually when shit like that happens, it's video drivers, at least in my
All my
experience.
everything was updated. I mean, I don't know.
Right, but I it could just be like I'm saying, like, might
Yeah.
be on their end, not
Yeah.
Borderlands' end.
Oh yeah. Could be.
But either way, it's still somebody's fault,
Yeah.
and your computer did crash, which is probably, like, the most frustrating type of crash.
Yeah. That's when you quit. You're like, I'm done right
Yeah,
now. Um. So, you mentioned the new event that they're coming out with, and
right.
it's called Bloody Harvest. It's a Halloween-based event, and it's coming out. They said like like late October, I guess, and it's gonna last a few weeks, 6 weeks maybe. I don't know the exact
Mhm.
length, but it's definitely like I like that they came out with this already. Like they kind of just came out with the game. Now they're coming out with this, and it's free for everybody who bought the game, whatever like tier or whatever that you get. and it's basically they came out with a new area called Heck, and there's like new type of enemies. They're like they're like haunted enemies, and they added a new debuff called Terror. So if you get hit with Terror, you like it affects your sight and like your accuracy on your gun and handling, and it like adds a new mechanic. There's new they changed up some of the enemies like racks. They make rack-o'-lanterns,
Mhm.
just like
Yeah.
the greatest dad joke ever. Um, so that those are just racks with like I feel like they're
Give,
just
like,
like pumpkin heads.
flaming.
Yeah, and they spit fire and
Yeah.
stuff. Um, there's even so back to like the terror stuff. There's I think anointed like parts that you can equip that will actually give you the debuff against enemies. So like you can do the
Okay.
same thing against enemies.
So, do you mean a gear set? Is that what that is? Like,
Uh,
if you have, like, a couple different pieces that have, like, the same buff or
it
something?
was not very clear the way they explained it.
Mhm.
They said just parts. I don't really know.
Hmm.
They're gonna they're resurrecting one of the enemies, uh, Captain Trant, making
Okay, yeah.
yeah as Captain Hunt,
Mhm.
and he's like an undead
Yep.
version, and there's supposed to be like ghosts. And it's like a whole graveyard thing, obviously, with like the whole theme and like well a rivers of blood and everything.
It sounds pretty cool. I mean, it's free.
Yeah,
That's definitely a
yeah.
plus.
I don't want to say this is any indication of how their DLC will go because I've been a very big fan of Borderlands DLC, like in the previous games. So and like obviously if you like, there's gonna be paid DLC. So this is the first free update. Then there's another
Mhm.
free update. It's I think Maliwan Takedown, and that's gonna have a new area and new enemies. The thing is that this one is a temporary event. I think I don't know if the Maliwan one is a temporary event. It looked like what they had up was there's gonna be new enemies, but I don't know if they're just gonna add them to the game and leave them in there because this is very themed, and they're
Mhm.
mentioning okay, we're gonna have some on theme for a holiday or whatever, and some not. Some of them are just gonna be kind of generic. So I feel like the holiday ones are always a temporary one, and then you play and they have a couple new guns and grenades and
And
shields.
the Mali one isn't though. It isn't
It
holiday
it
or it,
no, it's not. It they didn't it didn't show that it was a holiday event. It would just show like it was no based on anything. It was just
and when is that
like
event again?
that's I think this year. So they came out with they announced the Bloody Harvest, the
Mhm.
Maliwan Takedown, and then the first paid DLC is this year. It's the fall winter release, and this is all
So
from
they did announce that it's gonna be paid as well.
the DLC one is what's coming out is paid. These two are not paid. There's three things coming out in the fall winter: the Bloody Harvest, the Maliwan Takedown, and then a paid DLC that they didn't come out with the name yet.
I'm just curious because I think like paid DLC in multiplayer games is slightly old in its like model because the problem becomes that you switch or sorry you cut the player base.
Yeah, but that's not this situation we run into with Borderlands.
I mean, you
You
will
you
run into that
can't
problem.
play no you won't because
Why?
you will play in Call of Duty when you have a map pack and I don't. You're not gonna play with me, and like you're not gonna really play unless you have that map pack,
That's
right?
exactly what I'm saying. Yeah.
But like you have to play. That's like a whole multiplayer thing. This is like the whole idea. That this is co-op and that this is like a single player. Like you're gonna still have that like you can still experience it. I mean I kind of get what you're saying, but
No, I
the
but all I'm
idea that
saying is this, ready?
it's like
There's a
buying it.
million players. The Halloween comes out. Let's say they all play it. Well, let's
Okay,
be super optimistic and say, a million people buy it, a
okay,
million people come out and play
hmm
the haunted mode. Say 900 come and play the Maliwan takedown.
yeah,
Then they have to pay. There's a paywall. It's additional 20, 30,
mm,
40 bucks. Doesn't
okay,
matter. 40
mm,
bucks is like for a large expansion
sure,
usually. 20 bucks
good,
is like
yeah,
a pack or like some smaller expansion,
yeah.
right? Bam. Only 300,000 people are now playing it. Why? Because all
See,
the rest of the people ran out of content and they're not doing stuff anymore. It's not renewable content, and the next thing they had to pay for.
I think that you're just seeing this as like they're not gonna come out with more free content. Like
No,
they're
they're
not
going to
gonna
come out with more free content, but what I'm saying is, okay,
you're not gonna
what
like lose out on
splitting?
the people. People are just gonna keep playing, and
I'm saying
also the
this is
whole
just a thing in gaming in
yeah, yeah,
general,
I know,
right? So whenever maps, you even said it in COD, if map
yeah,
comes out, it splits the player base. What
mhm,
it means is that there's going to be the people who get the maps and the people who
okay.
don't.
That's just a fact. People either get it or they don't.
Right.
Okay, that
But if I
doesn't.
search for a game on a map where
Okay,
there's less players,
yeah,
it's going to take me longer to find a game, for
but
example.
that's not the case in
I
Borderlands.
also will not be able to play with half of my
It's
friends on those
okay.
maps.
Yeah.
I may have a difficult time. I may not actually have as much fun playing those
Mhm.
maps because a lot of my friends don't have the maps.
Okay.
Right? So now I'm almost dissuaded from spending the money at all if my friends aren't going to be spending their money. So what it means is if it's content that only a small percentage or even a smaller or less than 100% of the player base can do, it's called splitting the player base. Even if it's only 5% of
Right.
people don't get it, you're now cutting 5% of people out of content and they will most likely drop the game and never pick it up,
Well,
right?
that only happens in like if it's multiplayer like that when like
This is
you
multiplayer.
no, this is co-op. It's not like you're matchmaking. You're gonna go play the game. It's not like you have to wait in a lobby. That's gonna take like an hour to search because like few people have the maps. You're gonna play. You can play by yourself, and you're gonna be able to go into this DLC and play. You don't need to matchmake with anybody to go play this. So that whole situation is just not there. The situation with your friends not having it, that's part of it. But it doesn't matter. You don't
I
have to
mean,
wait for somebody else to
okay,
play with.
so if we look at this differently and we say, let's look at previous Borderland games.
Okay.
Now, Borderlands games usually had like I think it was like 4 or 5 DLC, right? By
Yeah.
the end of it.
Yeah. About.
Now, if we were to look at the sales numbers for the games and then each subsequent DLC pack, we'll see that the highest number is when the original purchases came out for the game, obviously. Then less, like a pretty decent amount less are going to get the first expansion.
Mhm.
And then less than that are going to get the second one. Less than that are going to get the third one. Less than that are going to get the fourth. Less than that are
Okay.
going to be the fifth. By the fifth expansion, even though the game has an insanely larger amount of content, by
Mhm.
the fourth expansion, they're barely selling expansions.
Okay.
Versus if obviously they would make less money if they were all free, but let's say with each subsequent expansion, the previous one became free. It's like sure you'd be paying to get in early, but and most of the time the people playing would be behind, but I'm sure a significantly larger number of the players would have remained with the game. And if it were to be free at launch, then the people who had played the or purchased the game originally will probably opt to play with the free
Mhm.
DLC,
Yeah, I mean,
right?
okay.
So if it's free, people continue playing. If there's a paywall, you end up starting to cut out players and they don't come back. That's the problem. Is you once you cut them out once, now let's say after this paid for DLC, another free DLC comes out, but it's still like a smaller, easier one, then people might be like, oh well, pretty much all my friends have these crazy weapons from this awesome expansion. Like,
Mhm.
I guess because the drop in it makes it a little easier than
Yeah,
other games.
yeah, it's definitely
But
different.
there's definitely like I think a bit
I
of
I mean, I
a
don't
frustration too, because
y
like, what if I buy it and then you don't buy it?
I
And
think
then you're gonna be
it's
like, okay, well, I guess I won't play Borderlands with you anymore.
mean, I think they kind of save themselves a bit at least with these like free updates
Hmm.
than just like yeah, like blocking off people from playing this game. But like the amount of people that play a game usually drop off anyway. Like just in general, like the
Yeah.
beginning players, there's a lot, and then it kind of drops off.
I mean, it's
Mm,
just the fact that it's multiplayer, right? In a single player game, you get an expansion, whatever, right? Doesn't
okay.
matter. Multiplayer game,
It's
if there's,
see,
I'm saying like there's a group of 5 friends.
yeah.
If all 5 buy the game originally,
Mm,
all 5 play together,
yeah.
have a lot of fun.
Okay.
Another expansion comes out. 2 of them, there's so many games coming out in these falls, and
Mm,
not everybody buying games has a lot of money to spend on them.
right.
So let's say only 3 of your friends buy that first expansion.
Okay.
Now 2 of your friends don't, so now you only have 3 people to play with in total.
Okay.
So it's just that idea of reducing your total pool of people who you can play with and who you can do things with. That's what splitting the player base is. In a single player game, it doesn't exist. And in
Right.
free-to-play games where all the content is free, it also doesn't exist.
Right.
Which is
Yeah.
why almost every game has changed to a model of free maps. In
Yeah.
fact, even the new Call of Duty is going to be
Mhm.
doing that, whereas it didn't do it in
Mhm.
um like some of I think it was like the season pass for Black Ops
Yeah.
4. You had to like buy it all in once or something like that. Um, so a lot of these games like are just adding some cosmetics,
Yeah.
making their money through that, and not splitting the player base.
Mm.
So I was even saying this to you, I think earlier. I was like, when is Borderlands going to get monetized? That's what I want to know. When are they going to start coming out with like paid for
Mhm.
cosmetics? Because at some
I mean,
point,
they have already. Like Borderlands 2 already had that for a while.
I mean, like microtransactions
You you can buy skins
with
and
in-game currency.
no, like you can go on Steam and pay money for a skin in Borderlands 2. That's always been a thing.
Really?
Yes.
You mean like a microtransaction skin?
Sure.
Can I or can I not get it by playing the game?
I don't know.
If I can get it by playing the game, then I don't care about it.
You so I don't know. I know that I don't think so. I think some of them were like DLC skins where you can buy the skin separately from buying the DLC. So I guess not. So I guess it's a microtransaction.
Okay. I guess I mean more modern style.
I know, but that's
Cuz
not gonna
like
happen. The Borderlands not like this is the.
well, we don't actually know what that we actually we
I mean,
can
look.
speculate on what
Okay,
that paid
I
for
don't
DLC
think it's
might be
going
cuz
to
that could be a
happen.
battle royale for all we know.
No, no, no. It's not
Who
going. It's
knows?
not going. I can
All
put
I'm
my money on
saying
it.
is that I think that like Borderlands with the way that they're designing this game, it feels like they're trying to transition it like you know how GTA, right? You bought the $60 game. You had
Okay.
the whole single player story that you could play through,
Mm.
right? And then they were like, "Oh, here's GTA Online. This
Yeah.
thing is going to be filled to the brim with microtransactions, and
Okay.
it's going to be like a multiplayer experience with levels and a character you design and
Yeah.
all this stuff." Like, I don't think that's exactly what they're going to do, but they could have been like, "Let's come out with Borderlands 3,
Mhm.
blank slate, like total free game of not free, but I mean like a true sequel to the second one, the whole game in one package, single player experience.
Yeah.
We deliver it to the player, and then if we follow that model of GTA, well, they spent $60, they got $60 worth of content. Now, if we release free shit and we put microtransactions into the game,
Mm.
then people won't be as upset
Yeah.
because they won't feel like they're being forced to spend money on microtransactions in a game they spent $60 on. They got their
Yeah.
$60 worth of content. They feel satisfied.
Yeah.
Now they're willing to take out their wallets and start
Okay.
forking out the cash. So I would not be surprised if Borderlands tried to take that model because every game nowadays is trying to take that model.
I mean, how do you take that model after releasing DLC you have to pay for?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like if it was, for
Like,
example, like a battle royale, then that would make a bit of sense. Like a
mm,
$20, totally separate game mode.
I guess.
Like that could kind of
Well,
work.
mm,
Um,
I mean, I guess I don't know. I think Borderlands is just Borderlands. I think they didn't change
maybe.
their game, way their game is, and the game, the way that it was, like in the sense of like the shooter looter,
Hmm.
and like you come out with the DLC, it's a map and like a whole new like mission, like story, and you just do that, and they just come out with skins that you could buy just the way
Did
they
you
did
buy every
before.
expansion in Borderlands 2?
I did like previous to Borderlands 3 coming out. I bought like the Handsome Jack.
But did you buy it back in the day?
No,
How many expansions did you buy?
I don't remember.
If you had a guess.
I don't know. I probably none. I didn't really like. I don't remember buying any.
I mean, I remember maybe buying like the first one.
I
The
don't
thing
know.
is,
Maybe
I'm
one.
very
Maybe
curious.
I did buy them all. I don't remember.
What if like only 15% of everybody who bought the original game actually bought the first expansion?
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering. I feel like the model of expansions in a I guess it works for like
I think
MMOs
if they would,
though.
they think they wouldn't do it if it doesn't work.
That's not true. Lots of people do things that don't work. That's how they lose their
What?
businesses and go bankrupt.
Okay, but the model that they've done for 3 games, coming on 4 games now. I think they've been. I don't think if
Maybe I guess maybe
I
they could
think the
just be
way this
sticking
game
with
is
it.
designed and the way that you play this game, and
I just
it's
don't think a
way
lot of people
more.
buy the
It's.
expansions.
I think they do. I think more. I don't really know the
I would
numbers
love for
on.
some numbers on
I
it.
know like
I guess we
um
don't know though.
2/5 of our friend probably already bought the season pass.
Have they?
Yes,
How much? What's in the season pass
it was like $100. You get all the DLC.
for the entire game
Yes,
forever?
yes,
Then it does sound like they're probably doing like normal Borderlands style.
yes.
They got to come up with something that would get people to buy all these expansions. Maybe they think if they put the free stuff littered in
Maybe
between the
they
paid expansions.
keep your friends in there, and then when you go, oh, I have the DLC. Okay, let me buy the DLC, and you do it. Because
Yeah,
until the DLC is really good, I'm not gonna buy it.
I mean, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But I can't
Or like,
imagine in the age of these all
hmm
these major game studios completely
hmm
reformatting their games in a way to allow for microtransactions. Like, will
hmm I th-
Borderlands fall into it? Will they
mm,
keep their old payment style? Will it even work? Like
well,
just
I think
expansions with more missions and shit?
I think
No new characters, which you mentioned.
well, yeah, I mean, didn't mention here yet, but hold on. I just want to say that I think the way that DLC works, it works because the hardest core players play the game and fucking beat it, and then when the DLC comes out, they need more content.
Right.
But then later, the more casual players, they're still playing the game, like the story and all the side quests, and then this DLC comes out, and then they can wait to buy it later, and then the bundle is cost less. It just happens like that, and then you end up getting the DLC anyway.
I mean the cooperative thing, the cooperation, or
Yeah,
is it cooperative or cooperation? Yeah.
there's cooperative, and then there's
Cooperative
coopetition.
and coopetition. Right, okay. So cooperative, uh I'm still saying it stupidly. Um I think it fixes some of the problems of the old style, the model that
Yes.
they used before,
Oh, it definitely does.
where like now at least if let's say I didn't get the first expansion but the second one's super cool, I can buy that one
Mm.
and I can do that expansion at my level and
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Whereas like in the previous one with each expansion, like you couldn't really get the third expansion
hmm
because then they would have to have scaled the third expansion for the people who played the first and second expansion, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So I mean, it'll be a test to see
Mm.
how they handle this, but
Yeah.
I can't imagine them doing it exactly like they did the previous games.
Oh, I think that's why they're sprinkling in this free stuff. I don't know.
We'll
That could
see.
be how
They
they're
haven't
buffering it.
announced it yet, but
Right.
they could be completely like doing something
No,
totally different
I
in the
don't think
paid
so.
version.
I don't think. My
Probably.
money's on not. My money's on no. People hate them.
I
There's
just
no way
think that
all these hardcore fans paying $100 gonna get this shit and then give me fucking battle royale. Give me a break. That's not happening.
okay, not with you're right, not with battle royale. They're not gonna pay $100 and then give you that. It I'm just curious because it's like there's an MMO style of doing things. Because Destiny, right? If you look at Destiny and you
Mm.
look at Borderlands, they are very similar games. And in fact, there's
Yes,
like
because Destiny
characters,
came from Borderlands effectively.
yeah, in a lot of ways. But in fact, even in like Borderlands, there's like the Destiny looking
Oh
characters and
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Like you
Some
know
of
that they
them,
based off of.
yeah.
Um, and essentially with Destiny, they built it so that there's raids, there's
Yeah.
replayability at like end game. There's like
Mhm.
these
Well, that's what
loot
this.
that has a higher and higher and higher that you can go and when you nowadays they're making it 100% free to play
Mhm,
because before
mhm,
like for example, I bought Destiny 1
mhm.
and when the Taken King came out, guess who didn't buy the Taken King?
You.
Because I
You.
was still like two whole expansions behind
Yep.
and I was just like, fuck it. Why? I'm not going to start like
Okay.
all the way here. I'll just
Yeah.
wait for the second one, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Second one comes out, play it.
I mean,
Expansions
there's
start coming
dude,
out. You don't get them.
the amount of replayability of Borderlands and
Mhm.
Borderlands 3 is just as high with like end game playing, like, and then going back through. There's always been like a second playthrough with Borderlands
I mean, it's
that
not really
you
any
change it
different
up.
though. It's still doing all the same missions, fighting all the same bosses, getting roughly the
I know.
same loot, and it's the
I'm
same
just
thing as
saying.
if I played through a new character on Destiny.
Well, it's not playing a new character. It's your character, and it just ramps everything up way
Right, I guess it's
more.
like the new game plus thing. But
Yes.
it just makes everyone stronger. It doesn't make everybody
Yeah,
like
I
have
know.
new
Yeah, I
abilities
know.
or like change
Oh yeah.
story or
Yeah. So
so I mean the kind of point I'm making is that like act or not it was Activision who was imposing it on them
okay.
on Destiny. But Bungie got away from them, and they're like, "Oh my god, thank God we can fucking breathe. Can we please change this shit model of
Mm,
expansions? This thing sucks."
okay.
So now they're coming out with free to play,
Mhm.
and they're gonna focus on, making the money in other ways
Yeah.
and just giving us the content as it
Mhm.
comes out.
Okay.
Which is why I'm kind of criticizing Borderlands, which is essentially actually doing what Destiny did.
Okay, yeah, what Borderlands always done. Yeah.
Right. Like the only right, exactly. What
Okay.
any MMO does, because in fact, like if you look at Borderlands, it is sort of like an MMO where you just don't have a big hub and you can't instance and see other people. They have to join your
Yeah.
game and you have to join
Okay.
theirs.
Yeah.
But it's still the same idea.
Okay.
I guess it's closer to like I said, Diablo, where you join people's games, they can join
Mhm.
yours, the
Yeah.
levels and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no cooperative uh,
Or,
mode in,
in
in
Diablo.
Diablo
Yeah.
though. I think people would like that in that game too. Any of these games, any sort of
Yeah.
loot focused game.
Yeah.
Uh, but I guess we'll see. The reason
Mhm.
why Destiny's doing it differently is because they tried it and tested it and they hated it, and it like was didn't do very well.
Y
So we'll see if Borderlands falls into the same trap.
Yeah.
But I think it's objectively
I think
not preferred by the actual gamer themselves.
maybe. I know I tried playing Destiny and I did not like it. Everything felt the same and it felt like grindy and too far wide. They tried to take
Mhm.
Borderlands and just make it super big.
Yeah, I
And
think Borderlands focuses more on story and
dude,
characters,
yeah.
whereas Destiny was focusing more on like crazy visuals and
Mhm.
gunplay.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Whereas
think
like Borderlands
I
is more
think that's the
simple in the
difference.
gunplay
Yeah, yeah.
area.
So I think we should circle back to kind of what you mentioned about the DLC and the new characters because
Okay.
that's something. Yeah, they said that they're not going to come out with any new Vault Hunt. That
That's so dumb on their part. I have no idea why. I mean, you mentioned it that like the reason was because they were saying some studies
yeah,
say
yeah,
that people will try out a new character
hmm
and they won't play it for too long and then they'll
hmm
just return to the character that they were originally playing.
yeah. That like they've been tied to because it's like an attachment sort of thing. I don't know. I just know like like the community wants it, like
Right.
and they would make money off of it. Just do it,
Well,
man.
I guess their argument is like the community wants things because if you show a little kid a shiny new
Yeah,
toy, he likes it,
I
and then he
guess.
likes it for a day, and then he goes back
I my
to playing with his favorite toys.
my argument is it increases playability even more than it did before. Because like yeah, like you have the four vault hunters and like you get four friends to play, and then you can like play through whatever and then swap around, be like, all right, let's play this again, and then we're gonna be different vault hunters and play like that. But or then now, if you have like another vault hunt, like another one, you won't run into that situation where you want to try out
Mm,
somebody else's. Like you have another option to do that. And then if you have five people and you have to like five friends, and now you can only fit four into a game, you have two people playing in one and three in another, and there's guaranteed to be an overlap
yeah.
of a vault hunter. Now, one of those people can be a different vault hunter and then they can just all the games gets interchanged and it's all different
hmm
and you don't have to worry about two people being like flak for example.
And then I think another thing too, and it's weird. I don't know where they got their study
Their
from,
numbers, I don't know if it's
but
study
I
said
guess
that
it's
their
like
numbers that they saw, I
yeah.
guess, I don't know.
I think it's the numbers internally from previous
Yes,
games.
I imagine
I call bullshit on those numbers for one very simple addition to the game that they added in the third one.
that.
Cooperation.
Yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah, because you don't want to start out a new vault hunter if you got to start at the beginning and then you're going to
right.
be like level 3 and then your buddies are all high level. Yeah, so you
Or
and
to like join somebody else's game and get power leveled
yeah.
and like
Mhm.
all this stupid stuff. It kind of when you have the character you're max level with that you've played the entire game so
Mhm.
far, and you go and you play a different character that just came out in an expansion, there's such an investment in doing that that it feels not worth it. And then you have to like, if you start a new one with your friend, you're both level one, you have to make
Yeah.
sure that your friend's on at the same time I'm on.
Yeah.
Like you can't get ahead of each other.
Yeah.
So it's like when the game originally came out, all your friends were playing every day.
Yeah.
So it's super easy to get everybody on
Mhm.
and get to those max levels, but then it's like the second time around, people are probably not going to be as into it. There might be
Yeah.
other games coming out, things like that.
Mhm.
Like you probably get to a certain level because you tried out the character,
Yeah.
and then even though you tried her out, the investment of your time and energy to get her to the level of your original character is so high that you just switch back.
Yeah.
And I think that's what their studies or their
Okay.
numbers are
Yeah, yeah.
saying. But I think that's not as important when you're coming out with free content,
Yeah.
when you are going to have this new mode where I
Mhm.
can play with any
Yeah.
of my veteran friends on my new character.
Yeah.
Because my veteran friends, maybe they're not as interested in playing a
Right.
new character as me.
Yeah, and there's definitely a bias on like uh swapping out the character because obviously if you're gonna be playing one character, you're probably gonna have beaten the whole game and leveled up by the time a DLC comes out.
Mhm.
So then obviously when you start playing the second one, over time you're gonna play it less and less. So you're probably gonna not get as far if you're like you are like gonna drop off if a new game comes out. So there's a chance that you're gonna get to a lower level by the time you stop playing the game on the second character than you did on the
Also, I mean,
first.
this is kind of actually I want to like almost take away from how cooperative makes it easier and
Okay.
say that there's a way that it makes it worse.
Okay.
Um, in that it's actually I kind of realize it's very difficult to get a character to max level in the
Mm.
new mode versus the old one because you couldn't get power level or you can't get
Uh.
power leveled in
Oh.
this. So I'm
Yeah.
just like curious, if a new character were to come out and a whole new DLC with a whole pack
Mm.
of content also
Yeah.
came out,
Mm.
would I want to go play this
Mhm.
new character and take all of that time getting them leveled back up to finally be at the same level as
Mm.
my other character to enjoy the new DLC at a high level?
Mm.
Or do I then have to just play the new DLC at level like 5 and
Yeah.
10? And
Yeah.
will that be more boring?
Yeah.
So because it's hard to power level, maybe in like previous Borderlands, when the new expansion came out, I got on the new character, my friend power levels me, and
Mm.
then we do the expansion together.
Yeah. I
So I
guess.
don't know, like maybe that's part of it, but a
Yeah.
lot of it's just it's kind of the MMO
Mhm.
problem because this game is in a lot of ways very similar to
Mm.
those where if it takes me 100 hours to get to max level
Mm.
on one character,
Yeah.
it becomes an insane amount of investment in a
Mm.
second character because
Yeah.
unless I spend the exact same amount, I'm always
Right.
gonna have a stronger character that I prefer to play on.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I guess if you look at the flip side of like power leveling, it's it's kind of funny. Like, if you're such a high level and you're helping your buddy, you're getting like no XP for this. But then if you like are both playing a game, like it feels worth your time to play with your friend than to just be like just killing things mindlessly and not
Mhm.
like even leveling up. But now you'll be leveling up at the same time. So there's more of an incentive to play more with your friend that wants to level up than just to mindlessly like kill
Right.
everything. I
So
think
that's kind of like for it being
yeah,
easier with the new
yeah,
character in the new like cooperative
yeah,
mode.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that's true too. I think it just takes longer.
yeah,
So
probably.
the downside is it takes longer to get to max level with the cooperative mode, but it's more fun to get to the max
Yeah,
level.
yeah.
But I guess maybe that's part of the reason why they were like, "Oh, I guess it's gonna take people even longer to get to max level," and
Mm,
we realized that most people get to max level and then
mm,
do the expansion or I don't know,
yeah,
whatever study they showed. But people
huh,
want new characters.
yeah,
And also, if there's a new character in an expansion, just make it so if we buy the expansion, it's the level of like, it's either a higher
mm,
level or it's like the level of my highest character or something.
yeah.
Obviously, that might be a little OP. But like something along those
Or like just
lines.
make it like a quarter of the max level or something like that. Like if it's
Yeah,
you know,
anything because
like
like
them
we already
start at
played the
level like
game.
15 or something like yeah, make it like just like a thing where like you're gonna get the like a good amount of like ability points so you can unlock them.
Is there anything else that we wanted to kind of cover?
Um, uh, I don't, I don't know if so. I did. So there's one thing I kind of noticed when I was looking up uh all like the DLC and everything, and that was like the kind of attitude towards like this Bloody Harvest event that's like kind of dismissive towards Borderlands, and I can't tell if that's like dismissive because of like the animosity towards Epic is kind of showing, and that like people can't tell if it's Borderlands' fault or is it
Hmm.
Epic's fault for things that are going wrong, and people are just like,
Right, and there's also like Randy Pitchford,
yeah,
and people
exactly,
aren't exactly a fan of him, even though they
yeah.
like Borderlands.
So they don't know where to point this at. They're just kind of like sour.
They're sour about
Yeah.
the event.
Well, yeah, it was just like, oh, it's like the Halloween events are all cliche, and
Dude,
if
I
you
think
beat
that's
it,
just
if you're
fucking
bored,
pandering
yeah,
bullshit by these shitty writers
mhm,
for game magazines and
yeah,
sites and articles
yeah,
and blogs where they're like, "Oh, what do we get outraged about today?
yeah,
What will get us clicks from
yeah,
our outrage?"
yeah,
And they
definitely,
just do that shit because
yeah,
who the fuck complains about free DLC? And also, who the fuck says that like Halloween is cliche? Dude,
yeah,
do you not celebrate Halloween every
yeah,
year?
yeah.
What in real life we do it every fucking year.
Is it too old now for you to do it? Hmm?
Like I don't understand.
Yeah,
Every video game that's a free
yeah,
to play game has a Halloween event.
yeah,
Is that cliche or is that just a rule? I think there's a
yeah,
difference. It's like if every movie had the exact same trope in it, then sure, then it's not a cliche even anymore. It's just like a
mm,
rule of
mm,
cinema,
yeah,
right? I mean, if it happens sometimes and it's like done because it's easy or popular, that's kind of more like cliche.
yeah.
But I guess you could say that it. I mean,
You could say that, but I know that Bloody Harvest has been like kind of in the lore a bit in Borderlands a little.
also, it doesn't even have to be a Halloween event.
Right.
It also is just like a cool, more horror
Yeah.
related
Well, the
event.
thing is, like, it's an event, so like, it's gonna end. It's different if it's like a DLC thing that's like a
Mhm.
horror based thing, and then it ends. Like,
I mean, they could
you
do a
know,
fall event, but that
yeah,
also happens every fucking year.
yeah, it
So,
does.
I mean, is
Yeah,
that
winter.
cliche?
Yeah,
Like, what are they supposed to do? Yeah, if you have
either.
an event in October,
Mhm.
like if you do anything but fall or Halloween, you'll probably get shit for that too. Next thing you know, these fuckers are gonna be like, "Oh, Borderlands didn't do fall or Halloween event. They just did some random weird event. Like they've lost this opportunity. It would have been a great opportunity to take advantage of the time of year." Like it doesn't matter which way you go, these fuckers moan.
Oh yeah.
Okay, done
So I
with that.
think that's a
Right?
good point to end on this one.
Um, yeah, well, let us know what you guys thought about the game.
Mm.
I think overall the consensus is
Oh
very
yeah,
well received.
yeah, definitely. Even with the little like things that kind of like buggy, still I think it's done really well.
Bugs, there's only
Happens,
some. There's
yeah.
not. They're definitely not
It
game
hasn't turned.
breaking.
It's definitely not turned people off from this game. Definitely.
Also sold like 50 million
Yep,
copies.
and made it like the highest selling Borderlands on PC.
I mean, I think it was already over 5 times as much as
Yeah,
Borderlands 2, just
yeah,
because I think Borderlands was like 8 million or something like
okay.
that copies.
Oh, okay.
So it
Okay.
was like the market of gaming is
Yeah.
so
Oh,
much
yeah.
bigger
Definitely,
now.
definitely increased. Yeah.
Kind of crazy actually. If you like use those numbers, that means that the total number of people that are interested in buying games like Borderlands has quintupled in size
Yeah.
since Borderlands 2.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, it was definitely well received. Let us know what you guys thought. Any bugs you ran into, other gripes,
Mm-hmm.
or other things that you thought were totally wrong on, and you really enjoy.
Yeah, and if we're gonna get Battle Royale in the DLC or not.
I kind of want Battle Royale though,
No. No.
dude.
Nope.
Borderlands
Nope.
Battle Royale would be a good Battle
No.
Royale, and you know
No.
it.
No.
You know it.
Nope.
I'd be down. Um, okay,
They
but
just
yep.
call it Apex ripoff, but never mind.
Yeah, actually, kind of it is a bit of an Apex ripoff,
Well,
if it
Apex
was.
stole their fucking model of having different like guys like this, like Vault Hunters. But
Oh, I thought you were gonna say if Borderlands made a battle royale, it would be a ripoff of
it would
Apex.
be,
Yeah,
but they kind of took having like characters with abilities like from Borderlands.
yeah, in a way, definitely, yeah, because it's like even they only have like the one ult, but I guess they have their other abilities though.
Hmm.
So,
I guess.
but yeah,
All right.
see you guys.
Bye. As always, thank you for listening and following.
Check us out every Thursday on YouTube, Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, anywhere podcasts are available.
You can find us on Instagram at Unstoppable Force Podcast and Twitter at UForcePod for news and updates.
We'll see you guys next week, and
And
until
until then,
then, stay
stay
unstoppable.
unstoppable.